Alright, so welcome back everybody. So in today's video, we're going to be going over the best PC settings for Warzone. Now, I just switched over to PC and I've been learning about all of these settings, trying a bunch of different things out and learning the best things for your certain graphics card, your certain computer, things like that. And just the best to get the best performance, best frames, best smoothness out of your game, out of your computer that you can. Now, let's get started with our graphic settings here. So you want to play on full screen borderless. This is the best kind of screen size to play with. Don't try the other ones. I mean, you could try. I think standard it comes on full screen, but borderless is a little bit better because it doesn't have the border thing. So it's kind of it looks a little bit better borderless. This is just my monitor, and then this is my graphics card, a 2060. Now unfortunately I am playing on a 75 hertz screen, so the most frames I'm gonna see is 75 frames. So above that, I don't really see anything else above that. But for the most part, y'all probably have a 144 hertz monitor or a 300 hertz monitor, 160, 200, whatever. So you'll definitely see the difference more than me. Since I just transitioned, I'm definitely gonna move to a 165 hertz monitor soon, or like 200 hertz soon. But for now, I'm dealing with the 75 hertz. But I can definitely tell the difference though. Even that little 15 from 60 to 75 is a big difference. Now let's start with this. So dynamic resolution. Dynamic resolution is adjusted dynamically to maintain a targeted frame rate. Now this kind of, if for the frame rate here that you have down here, I just set it to 75 because that's what the max I could do. So that's why I have it disabled. In your situation, if you want to always target 144 FPS or 160 FPS, then you might want to enable this, but kind of depends on your power of your GPU and stuff like that. Aspect ratio, I have this to automatic. I haven't really played with this. I don't think you should. Think you should just stick that to normal. Sync, VSync. Now this also depends on your monitor. Not all monitors have VSync. Some have G-Sync for AMD's graphics cards. So if you have VSync, VSync is for I'm pretty sure it's for Nvidia graphics cards, and then G-Sync is for AMD graphics cards. So it's a little bit different, a little tricky. Mine doesn't have that, so I have this disabled. If yours does, you might want to do that so it matches your monitor's refresh rate more accurately. But I mean, you're gonna get good FPS either way. So just have it disabled. Custom frame rate limit, I have mine's unlimited because I mean, doesn't really matter. I just put unlimited so you can get unlimited frames, the most frames you can capable. 50 brightness. Display gamma here. If you're playing on a monitor, you want to use 2.2. If you're playing on a TV, then you want to use 2.4. But your PC gamer, you're probably on 2.2 sRGB. Nvidia highlights, this is just for like recording and stuff like that. I have this disabled. I'm probably gonna enable this soon just to capture clips if I'm not recording with OBS. So I'll probably have this enabled. Nvidia reflex low latency. Now this one's very important for your latency. If you have this is normally disabled, you want to enable it at least to enabled or enabled plus boost, depending on your graphics card. I have a 2060 and it could totally handle with boost. It just use a little bit more GPU, a little bit more watts from your GPU, more power from your GPU, and that's totally fine, really. Nothing really happens, but you do get less latency in the game. I'm coming from cons. I'm coming from on Rebirth Island 50, 40, 45 milliseconds at really good internet, down to like 19 milliseconds of response time of latency here on PC. So it is a big difference, bro. I'm telling you, it is a really big difference. Now let's switch over here to quality. Now our field of view, I maxed it out 120. Your personal preference. Not everybody likes the super wide 120. Some may like 100 or 110. I personally like 120. Personal preference there. ADS, you already know it should be affected. You get less visual recoil with affected. So use affected with 120 or whatever desired field of view you want. You want to have the least camera movement, so it has that least motion, the least motion sickness. If we could put this all the way to like 0, I probably would, but 50 is the lowest you could go. Render resolution, now this, like I said, this depends on your GPU. If you have a 30 70, 30 80, whatever, 30 90, then you probably could put this up more so you get better image quality. But if you're focused on performance, I usually just have this at 100. Just kind of, it's basically like a normal number for the setting. Like a normal high will be like 150 or whatever, but you do use more VRAM from your GPU, and you're using more of your GPU, which equals less performance, less FPS. So 100 is fine. If you have a lower end GPU, then you might want to drop a little bit, but I think 100 is fine for most GPUs. This is kind of more was a little bit more important here. Streaming quality, now it depends. Like I said, it depends on your GPU. I have a 2060. Like I said, if you're running a really low end, then you probably want to play on lower settings, but normal works definitely fine. Like it says right there, if you have less than 4 gigabytes of VRAM on your graphics card, then you will probably want to do low. Mine has 6 gigabytes and it can handle normal, so it's totally fine. Texture resolution, I have this on normal. I know some people like to play on low to get a little bit better, more performance. It kind of depends on you if you want to play on low. If you go very low, then things are going to become blurry at that point. But low is doable. Normal's nice. High is really nice, but you're using a lot of your graphics card's power, which means less FPS. So I like normal, but if you want a little bit more FPS and you have that higher refresh rate monitor, then you probably want to do low to get the best frames, the most frames possible. But like I said, since I'm on 75 hertz, I'm gonna do normal for now. Might switch on over later if I want to want to experience more frames. Texture filter, I don't know how to say that, anisotropic. Now this is kind of like the quality of the surfaces. Have this on normal because if you have it on low, it does look a little blurry and a little weird. You could have it on high, but it doesn't really matter. I just have it on normal just for normal settings. This doesn't really affect much on your VRAM usage, so really you can put it high, but I like to put it normal. I don't like to have something super high, really high, and then other things on normal. I kind of like to have everything normal for now, since I do stream and everything. It uses from the same GPU, so I gotta make some VRAM space for the stream and all that. Particle quality, I have this. There's no medium setting, so I just put on high because it's just the little particles, the little quality of those small little particles there. Not a big deal. It doesn't really use that much VRAM from your graphics card or much power from your graphics card. Next, bullet impact sprays. I just have this enabled so I can see the bullets. Tessellation, you want to have this. I mean, you could have this on all or near, but I personally have it on disabled. This is kind of just like the cracks on the floor, like little rock cracks or whatever. They just won't show. If you have it on all, then they will show from far away, which I feel will use a little bit more on performance, on quality wise than performance wise. So that's why I have it disabled for that more performance. Next, dismemberment, I have this enabled. I kind of like the dismemberment effects. On demand texture streaming, you could enable this if you have unlimited data from your internet, so there's no cap space for how much usage you could use per month. But if you do, definitely have this on disabled. Really, I can't really tell a big difference at all. Sometimes when I do high quality or standard quality, I do tend to use up more internet, which means less latency, which means more latency, a higher ping. So it started a little bit getting a little laggy when on high quality and start standard quality, especially if you're on lower speed internet. So just have it disabled, safer. I mean, you can't really tell a difference at all, so just have it disabled. Filmic strength, I have this all the way to 0. It usually is stock at 100. Just 0 it's kind of like film grain, but when you're ADS, so you don't want to have any of that weird grain on your screen. So 0, same thing with film grain, have this disabled. Now Nvidia DLSS, this is a big one. If you have an Nvidia graphics card, you want to turn this on. If you have this enabled, if you have this disabled, you're losing a lot of that advantage. You're not taking advantage of your graphics card. Now I know the 2000 series, 3000 series do have this. The 1000 series cards don't have this, unfortunately. So if you do have a 2060, whatever 2050, 2000, 3000 series card, then you want to use this. I personally have this on balance since I'm not using a 1440p quality. I'm not using 4K. I'm not using 8K. I'm just using 1080p. So I'm on balance, and it gives you more frames. You get around 15 to even 20 more FPS. So you definitely want to have this on. It's very big, very big for performance. I don't know what it does really. I mean, it's like something from the graphics card. I'm not sure if AMD's graphics card have something like this. I don't know. I don't have an AMD graphics card. So if you do, then maybe you could look here. If this is a different option, maybe turn that on. I don't know AMD's graphics cards like features and things like that, but I know Nvidia does. So that's one plus from Nvidia. Anti-aliasing. Now, since I do have this on I'll go over this in a second. I think it's more down here. Depth of view, I have this disabled. When you have it enabled, it's kind of a little bit blurry around your screen, so just have that disabled. World motion blur disabled. Weapon motion blur, you can enable this. You can maybe squeeze in a few more frames if you're running a low-end GPU, low-end computer. Run weapon motion blur, you can squeeze in a little bit more frames. Shadow map resolution, have this on normal. You want to have a little bit of shadows, so when you see the people's shadows from like top of the buildings to the floor from the sun, you can see that. You can have it on extra high, but you are using more VRAM there. So personally, I like normal. I have this on enabled, so we could get more frames for our future frames. It's something like it's enabling this option causes the game to use additional memory RAM, but when you have it enabled, the spot shadows are restored and the cache data storage inside there that speeds up for rendering more frames in the future. I don't know, gives you more frames, so I just have it on. Doesn't really use that much more VRAM, so that's why I have it on. Also, same thing with this one, kind of like the same thing with the shadows. Particle lighting, have this on normal. I can't really tell the difference at all really, so just have it normal. Ray tracing, you want to have this disabled if you want the best performance. If you have it enabled, you do use a lot of power and performance. You do lose a lot of performance from your computer when you have ray tracing on, and realistically in Warzone you're not going to be able to tell much ray tracing, so might as well disable that. Ambient occlusion, I have this to both. This is the whole thing with the anti-aliasing. I'm gonna be honest, even in Warzone I can't tell much of it. It's pretty hard to tell, but I just put this on both because I don't know, you can't really tell a difference, bro. You can't really tell a difference on any. There is no downside, there's no upside, so I just put it on both really. Screen space reflection SSR, same thing with the anti-aliasing. Like I like to run the old normal settings, so I just put normal. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what this does. I'm gonna keep it a $150 with y'all. I don't even know what this does, so I just keep it on normal. There's no way to disable. Oh, there is, but I'm gonna just keep it on normal. If y'all know what that one does, let me know, because I don't know what that one does. But here we're gonna go over our interface. Subtitles disabled. Deuteranopia, the colors are a little bit more juicier. Bro, I had it on interface only. I'm selling. Okay, you're supposed to have this on both, so you can actually see it in the game. And then this, you can kind of move your HUD a little bit if you want to move that out the way, have it more like left or right. I personally have it 2020. I like it's like a nice closer ground. Square minimap, minimap rotation enabled, compass, and then yada yada yada. This is kind of just like default things from the game there. I think there is a new one though where you can choose to have your gas mask animation, so we'll go over that in a second. And then this one is kind of just, this is how to enable the whole frames thing on the top left. So if you guys see how it tells me my things for my computer, I can have how many frames I'm getting here, my server latency, my packet loss if I'm getting any packet loss, my GPU temperature, my GPU time, my CPU's time, and all that. So it's pretty cool. I like to have all of them on just so I can see what's going on with my computer. If my GPU is getting at 100 degrees and something's wrong, I gotta turn that off before something bad happens. So I kind of just like having it on. System clock, if you want to have the clock up there too, you can have that up there too. I personally put to skip the introduction, the whole super loud thing when you start up Modern Warfare, so have that to enable so I can skip that. And the in-game alerts, I have those enabled in case, like I said, anything's going on. It lets me know if anything's going on. Now our audio. Now this one's a big one. Now I personally like boost low, but I know that the best three is boost low, boost high, and midnight mode. I know midnight mode's a little weird, but it's kind of like boost low. But I don't know how to explain this. I know they have like a small graph here. So boost low, the frequencies are, like I said, they are lower. High frequencies are higher. But with midnight mode is low, but the thing about midnight mode is that all of the background things, all of the airstrikes and all that things around you is a little bit more quiet down. The things that you don't want to hear, you're not gonna hear. So midnight mode, I might actually switch to midnight mode because it is pretty good. I've used it a couple times and it's not that bad. It's pretty similar to boost low. It's just a little bit more quiet, a little bit more like stealthy audio in a way. But I personally like boost low, so I'm used to boost low. I remember when I switched from boost high to boost low, it was a little weird because I was used to the boost high quality. But personally, boost low and midnight mode, or boost high, depending on your personal preference there. Now, my master volume, I do have it all the way down to 25. Personally, on PC, audio is so much better than console. And you hear almost everything, a little too much. So I had to tone it down all the way to 25. That's where I could kind of actually hear footsteps really well without having all the things in the background going insane, blowing my eardrums out. And dialogue down to 20 also affects the whole thing with the airstrikes and stuff like that. Had this to 20 or 21, whatever, around there. Low dialogue is like the enemy UAV and the radar and stuff like that. So Juggernaut music enabled. Actually, this should be disabled. Hit markers, MW, mono audio disabled. Only when one of your ear cups is not working, you want to have that enabled. So have that disabled. If they're both working. And yeah, this is kind of just basic stuff: voice chat, microphone, volume, and yeah, nothing too much there. And then lastly, we do have our controller settings here. So if you're on controller, this is personally the settings that I use: tactical flipped, default, no invert. This is my dead zone 0.5. Oh no, actually it should be 0.6, both of them. Dead zone is the whole thing with, like, if your controller has stick drift, you want to adjust that. Max dead zone, you want to max it all the way out. My sense is on 9. I might lower it to like 8 a little bit, but I personally, I'm like in 9 right now. And yeah, dynamic for my rushers, and linear for my snipers, and standard if you're kind of standard. It's like the way the aim kind of changes with the sensitivity. It's a little weird to explain, but I personally like dynamics as I like to rush and stuff like that. Disabled, you don't want your controller vibrating. Oh yes, this is the gas mask animation thing. So gas mask toggle only. So I personally actually might turn this back to disabled because I kind of forget when I'm going in the gas to actually enable it. So I kind of like that it does it by myself. I would have thought that I would have liked me manually putting it on, but you got to go into the press the D-pad down and then go to the actual gas mask and press square, and I think it just takes way too much time if you're actually getting shot. So that's why I have this to disabled. So the mask automatically puts it on. So I mean, you might want to experiment with enabled, because I know sometimes the gas mask animation can kill you, but I personally like it disabled. I think I like it automatically. Aim assist standard is the best aim assist to use. Scale aim assist with FOV disable. If you have this enabled, then you'll be getting your sensitivity gets super slowed down while it's not close to the actual target. So I personally like it disabled because if you're good with aim, then you're better off with disabled, because if you have it enabled, it's worse. It's definitely worse for long range gunfights, and especially if you got a little runner in front of you, which people are movement gods nowadays. So disabled is the way to go. And then these are kind of just regular stuff. Contextual tap, yeah, know that one. Apply all for armor plates. Slide to tap. Tap to slide, I mean. And yeah, man, automatic tactical sprint for that movement. Parachute, auto deploy, disabled, yada yada yada. So that is it, y'all. That is my PC settings. I know most of the whole PC things were this here. Yeah, let me know what y'all think about my PC settings. If you have anything to share or any comments, let me know in the comment section down below your settings or anything that you think I should change. And I'll see y'all boys later. Take care.